Okay, in this foldable, we're going to solidify our understanding about how we can find slope in a graph, an equation, and on a table. We've definitely looked at all three ways, but we want to make sure that we are able to clearly understand how to find the slope in those three different forms. So if you don't have your foldable cut on the dashed line, go ahead and cut right now, and then when you're ready, push play. So first flap we're going to look at is finding slope on a graph. So on a graph, remember slope is the letter M, and we find slope on a graph by finding the rise over the run between any 2 points. So for example, I could pick this last point all the way to the first point. So I rise and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I run 1, 2, 3, and so that would be 6 over 3, or I could have made it easier, pick 2 points next to each other, rise 2, run 1. So for my slope fraction, 2 over 1, which just equals 2. So slope is measuring the steepness of that line. On the next flap, we're going to look at slope in an equation. So in an equation, the slope is the coefficient. Okay, we can see slope is represented with the letter M, and in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, it's the m, which is the number that's multiplied by x. So if I look at the equation y equals 2x minus 1, the number multiplied by x is 2, so that's my slope. So my slope is 2. Now, we always want to make sure that we know how to write the slope as a fraction, because in a couple days we're going to need it as a fraction so we can graph it with our rise over our run. So if it's a whole number, you can say the slope is just whatever number it is over 1. So 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. If you write 2 or 2 over 1, it's correct either way, but just know that to change 2 into a fraction, put a 1 underneath it. Okay, looking at the other examples. On your foldable under the other examples, it should say find the slope. I believe it does. So if we look at this first equation here, y equals negative 2x plus 5. Remember, the slope is the number in front of x. So negative 2 is being multiplied by x, so the slope is negative 2, and you can write it over 1. Next one, y equals 3x minus 8. The number multiplied by x is 3. So our slope is 3, or 3 over 1. That would mean rise 3, run 1. Next one, don't be fooled. It's in a little bit different order. So we have y equals 3 plus 1/4 x. So you can see the number being multiplied by x is 1/4. So our slope is 1/4. And that's already a fraction, so I don't need to put a 1 under it. Okay, and the last one, we have y equals x. Now, there is a number multiplied in front of x, otherwise the x wouldn't be there, and it's a 1, so it's 1x. So the slope is 1, so our slope is 1, and you can put it over 1. And last but not least, we want our slope on a table. So slope on a table is noticed as the rate of change, and it's the change in y over change in x. So that should seem familiar to you because when we took slope from 2 points, we did the difference in y over the difference in x, which is just the change. So what we're going to do is we're going to look here at any two ordered pairs. So if I take a look at -4, -9, -2, -5. Okay, first, I'm looking at the change in y. So the change from -9 to -5 would be adding 4. Okay, so that's going to be my numerator of my slope, my rise, my change in y. Then for my change in x, on the x side, I'm going to look from -4 to -2. That would be adding 2. So for my slope, change in y is 4, change in x is 2. It's the change in y over the change in x, so I write 4 over 2. Okay, now if you're thinking, wait, you can reduce that. Just hang on 1 minute because I'm going to go through the rest of the table for you. Let's say you were to pick 2 other sets of ordered pairs. Well, if I go from -3 to -1, that would be adding 2, and -1 to 0 would be adding 1. So that would be 2 over 1. Okay, negative 1 to positive 1 is adding 2. 0 to 1 is adding 1. That would be 2 over 1 again. And then 1 to 3 is adding 2. And 1 to 2 is adding 1. So here's where you can see, okay, I have either 4 over 2, change in y over change in x, or I could say, well, 2 over 1, change in y over change in x. 4 over 2 equals 2 over 1. They're the same exact thing. You can go ahead and tape this page in your notebook and record it in the table of contents.